I stood in the hotel lobby in Prague, trying to charge a bottle of water to my room. The clerk's fingers moved across her keyboard, paused, then moved again. She looked up with that particular expression service workers have when something's wrong, but they're not sure how to tell you. My card had been declined. Not just declined, canceled. I tried the other one. Same thing. The fluorescent lights overhead hummed. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A text from Emily. "We need to talk when you get back." I set the water down and walked outside. The cobblestones were damp from earlier rain. That's when I understood. She hadn't just canceled the cards. She'd chosen this exact moment, when I was 4,000 miles from home, in a country where I barely spoke the language, to do it. I didn't panic. I didn't call her screaming. I opened my banking app with hands that felt oddly steady, and what I found there told me everything I needed to know about the last 18 years of my marriage. She thought she'd trapped me. She had no idea what she'd set in motion. My name is Marcus Webb. I'm 52 years old, and for the last 19 years I've worked as a compliance officer for a mid-sized pharmaceutical distributor. It's not glamorous work. I review shipment logs, verify temperature controls, make sure medications get where they're supposed to go without killing anyone. Steady hours, good benefits, the kind of job that lets you forget you're there. Emily and I met at a friend's wedding reception. She was 26, finishing her MBA. I was 34, already settled into routines. We married 8 months later. She wanted stability, she said. Someone solid. I thought I was choosing a partner. For 18 years, it looked stable on the surface. We had a house in a decent school district even though we never had kids. 2 cars, joint accounts. Her career in pharmaceutical sales took off while mine plateaued. I didn't mind. I made enough. She made more. It seemed fair. But looking back now, I can see the small erosions. The way she'd interrupt me mid-sentence at dinner parties to correct some minor detail. The way my paycheck went into our account, while her bonuses went into something she called investment funds that I never quite saw. The way she'd sigh when I suggested a movie or a restaurant, as if my preferences were charming but ultimately irrelevant. I let it go. I let a lot go. The conference in Prague was about new EU pharmaceutical tracking regulations. Dry material. I'd be gone 5 days. Emily drove me to the airport. She was cheerful, unusually so. Reminded me twice that she'd packed my chargers. Kissed me at the curb. I should have noticed. The first 2 days of the conference passed normally. Long sessions about serialization standards and temperature variance protocols. I texted her photos of the old city. She sent back hearts and smiley faces. On the 3rd day, during lunch break, I checked our joint account to make sure the automatic mortgage payment had cleared. The balance was $847. We'd had over $60,000 in that account last week. My chest went cold. I refreshed the app. Same number. I called the bank. The representative was professionally sympathetic. "It appears there was a large transfer authorization on Monday. The receiving account is also in your wife's name. You're both listed on the originating account, so the transfer was legitimate." I hung up. My hands were shaking now, but not from anger, from something else. Clarity. That evening, I returned to the hotel after the sessions. That's when I tried to buy the water. That's when the cards failed. That's when her text came through. "We need to talk when you get back." I sat on the edge of the hotel bed. The room smelled like industrial carpet cleaner and somebody else's cologne. I opened my phone and started looking. Really looking. Her Instagram, which I rarely checked. There were photos from last weekend, photos I wasn't in. She was at a resort in Napa with someone named Derek, his arm around her waist, her head on his shoulder. Comments from her friends. "You two are perfect together. Finally seeing you happy again." The posts were public. She hadn't even bothered to hide them. I didn't shout into the phone. I didn't send angry texts. I opened my laptop and started taking screenshots. Every post, every comment, every transaction I could access. I documented the account balance from Monday morning and the transfer that cleared Monday afternoon, while I was sitting in a conference room in Prague. I found my emergency credit card, the one I'd opened years ago in my name only, the one I kept for situations exactly like this, even though I never imagined I'd need it. I used it to book a flight home 2 days early. Then I called someone I never thought I'd call, my brother-in-law's divorce attorney, a man named Philip Soren. I'd met him once at a barbecue. He'd seemed competent and slightly ruthless. I left a voicemail. "Philip, this is Marcus Webb, Emily's husband. I need to talk to you tomorrow morning, your time. It's urgent." Then I sat in that hotel room and felt something inside me go completely quiet. Not broken, not defeated, just quiet. The kind of quiet that comes when you stop pretending. I slept better that night than I had in months. Philip called me back at 6 a.m. Prague time. "Marcus, tell me what happened." I told him, the transfers, the canceled cards, the Instagram posts, the text message. He was silent for a long moment. Then he said, "Don't contact her. Don't respond to anything. Get home and come straight to my office." I landed at SFO on Thursday afternoon. I didn't go to the house. I went to a residence inn near the office and checked in for a week. I texted Emily from a new number I'd set up through a Google Voice account. "I'm staying at a hotel. I'll contact you through my attorney." She called immediately. I didn't answer. She called 16 more times that night. I turned my phone to silent and started organizing. Every bank statement from the last 5 years, every tax return, every piece of documentation I could access online. At 9 a.m. Friday, I sat across from Philip in his office. He was younger than I expected, maybe 40, with silver-rimmed glasses and the kind of calm that comes from seeing every human betrayal there is. "You did the right thing coming here first," he said. "California is a community property state. That money she transferred, half of it was legally yours. But the timing, while you were abroad, unable to access funds, that creates a pattern." He leaned forward. "Did she know you had the emergency card?" "No." "Good, that's leverage." Within 2 hours, Philip had filed a motion to freeze all joint accounts and restore half the transferred funds to an account in my name only. He also sent Emily a formal letter notifying her that I was represented by counsel and that all communications should go through him. The weekend was strange. I sat in that hotel room and felt the absence of chaos. No arguments, no explanations, no begging for understanding, just silence. On Saturday afternoon, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered. It was Derek. "Look, man, I don't want any trouble," he said. "Emily told me you two were separated. She said you were fine with it." I didn't yell. I didn't threaten. I said, "She told you that while we were still living in the same house and sharing the same bed?" Silence. "While I was paying the mortgage on that house and the insurance on her car." More silence. "You can believe what you want," I said, "but you should ask yourself why she needed to steal $60,000 and cancel my credit cards while I was in another country if everything was so amicable." I hung up. 10 minutes later, Emily called from Derek's phone. I didn't answer. On Monday morning, Philip called. The freeze went through. The judge wasn't happy about the timing of the transfer. Emily's attorney is scrambling. They want to meet. When? Wednesday, 2 p.m., my office. I checked the time. It was 10:17 a.m. I had 2 days to prepare. I spent those 2 days getting everything in order. I printed out every Instagram post Emily had made with Derek. I compiled a spreadsheet of every investment fund deposit she'd made over the last 3 years. Over $200,000 that had gone into accounts I'd never seen. I found the deed to the house. Both our names were on it, but I'd paid 80% of the down payment with money I'd saved before we married. I found the documentation. Philip reviewed everything Tuesday afternoon. "This is good," he said. "This is very good. She's going to come in emotional, probably crying, probably with a story about how you neglected her." He looked at me over his glasses. "How do you want to play it?" I thought about that. About 18 years of small dismissals. About the way she'd kissed me at the airport curb. about the text she sent while I was standing in a hotel lobby 4,000 miles from home. I want her to understand, I said, that silence isn't the same as weakness. Wednesday at 2 p.m., I walked into Philip's conference room. Emily was already there with her attorney, a woman in her 50s with an expensive suit and a skeptical expression. Emily looked smaller than I remembered. Her eyes were red. She started to speak. Marcus, Philip held up one hand. We're not doing that. Let's keep this professional. He slid a folder across the table to Emily's attorney. Inside, you'll find documentation of a pattern of financial deception spanning 3 years. Undisclosed accounts totaling over $200,000. Evidence of an extramarital affair that began at least 4 months ago. And documentation showing that Mrs. Webb deliberately incapacitated her husband financially while he was abroad, creating what could be argued as financial abuse. Emily's attorney opened the folder. Her expression didn't change, but I saw her jaw tighten. Emily looked at me. Marcus, please, can we just talk? Alone? I met her eyes. You chose who mattered when you canceled my cards in Prague. Her face crumpled. I panicked. I thought you knew about Derek. I thought you were going to... I didn't know about Derek until I couldn't buy a bottle of water and had to check our accounts. Her attorney put a hand on her arm. Emily, don't say anything else. But Emily wasn't looking at her attorney. She was looking at me, and I could see something I'd never seen before. Genuine fear. Not of me, of consequences. I'll give the money back, she said. All of it. We can work this out. I shook my head. You don't understand. This isn't about the money. This is about what you thought you could do to me, what you thought I'd accept. Philip spoke up. My client is willing to proceed with an uncontested divorce under the following terms. Equal division of all disclosed assets, full disclosure of all previously hidden accounts with appropriate division, and Mrs. Webb assumes full responsibility for any tax liabilities associated with those hidden accounts. Mr. Webb keeps the house, given his documented majority contribution to the down payment. In exchange, he won't pursue charges for financial elder abuse or fraud. Emily's attorney leaned back. That's aggressive. It's fair, Philip said, and it's non-negotiable. I stood up. I'll give you until Friday to decide. Emily reached for my hand. Marcus, wait. I pulled my hand back, not angrily, just firmly. You had 18 years to treat me like a partner. You chose differently. I walked out. I didn't look back. Thursday evening, Philip called. They're accepting the terms. Her attorney knows she has no leverage. They'll sign Friday morning. I hung up and sat in the hotel room. The sun was setting. Orange light came through the blinds in horizontal bars. I could hear traffic on the street below. Someone laughed in the hallway. I didn't feel triumphant. I didn't feel vindicated. I felt unburdened, like I'd been carrying something heavy for so long I'd forgotten it was there, and now it was gone. On Saturday, I went back to the house while Emily was out. I changed the locks. I packed her things carefully, clothes, jewelry, photos, and left them in the garage. I left a note on the kitchen table. Your things are in the garage. The attorney will send final papers next week. I hope you find what you're looking for. Then I made coffee. Real coffee. The kind I liked. The kind she always said was too strong. I stood at the kitchen window and watched the morning light move across the backyard. The grass needed mowing. The fence needed staining. Small, manageable tasks. Things I could control. I thought about the moment in Prague when the card declined. How small I'd felt. How powerless. And then how quickly that feeling transformed into something else. Into focus. Silence isn't surrender. Sometimes it's preparation. Sometimes it's the moment you stop performing and start protecting. I didn't feel broken by what Emily did. I felt clarified. If you had been in my place, would you have confronted her immediately or let the system handle it? Tell me in the comments where you're listening from. Your presence means more than you know. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe. Let's keep walking this road together.